Good evening and welcome to a program devoted entirely to Lefties Losing It. Let's start with the WNBA. They had a humorously named All-Star game this weekend and the players all wore these absurd T-shirts saying, "Pay us what you owe us." Be careful there, ladies. Be careful what you wish for, because the WNBA loses $40 million a year. That's how much they lost in 2024, and that's with the Caitlin Clark effect that boosted interest and attendance at games. But it seems the activists who dominate this league, and sadly the WNBA is a highly political product, sadly some of these ladies are economically illiterate. Here is Brittany Sykes holding up a sign that says, "Pay the players." They are paid, and their entire league is propped up by the NBA, by the men's competition, something that is lost on a lot of the players, including Nafisa Collier.
Put in the blood, sweat, and tears for the new money that's coming in, and so we feel like we are owed a piece of that pie that we helped to create.
New money coming in, but it's not enough to cover the costs. If these players understood basic maths, the T-shirts would be saying, "I owe the NBA money." And the WNBA players are often their own worst enemies. They are always, well, many of them are always playing the victim and engaging in political activism that alienates the majority of sports fans. And they suffer from delusions of grandeur. The sport is growing, but other than Caitlin Clark, most sports fans couldn't name a single WNBA player, and the brilliant Shane Gillis used that to his advantage when he was hosting ESPN's The ESPYs, the Excellence in Sports Performance Awards.
Four-time WNBA All-Star Brittany Hicks is here. Give it up for Brittany, everybody. I'm joking around. That's my friend's wife. I knew none of you knew WNBA players. That's crazy. You clap for that.
They did clap for that, an audience of sports stars and fans, and even they didn't know. Now to some happy news, and the unfunniest flog on television has just had his show cancelled. Yes, Stephen Colbert, the host of a show that was losing $40 to $50 million a year, a show that had a massive team of writers and producers and still managed to be painfully unfunny and nasty. Here is a little of Stephen Colbert through the years.
Donald Trump has been sworn in as President of the United States. I know. Listen, we're just as confused as you are. Joe Biden did it. I sat down and just started crying with relief. And Evie said, "You never have to talk about him again." And then I cried with joy. After a bizarre and vicious campaign fueled by a desperate need not to go to jail, Donald Trump has won the 2024 election. Next year will be our last season. The network will be ending The Late Show in May.
And despite the fact that this catastrophe of a program with a dwindling audience was losing bundles of money, the left have somehow convinced themselves that Stephen Colbert was sacked because of Trump's dictatorial powers. This was some sort of a political hit job.
How long do all of the voices against this horrific administration have in terms of their careers and ability to make money? Because this madman, this mentally incapacitated, physically ill, mentally ill man is spiraling out of control. His dementia is out of control. His self-regulation, which she has none of to begin with, is missing.
Oh, poor Rosie. She really is a broken fool. It almost feels bad mocking her. Almost. Let's hear now from actress Jamie Lee Curtis, who also sees some sort of a conspiracy here. Apparently, it's all about shutting down dissent.
It's bad. He's a great guy. They just cut NPR and, public broadcasting. Yes, they're trying to silence people, but that won't work. It won't work. We will just get louder.
Oh, Jamie, you silly girl. As if the taxpayer, the American taxpayer, is obliged to fund the hard-left activism of PBS or NPR. But the most moronic rant goes to a dude who calls himself a Charlemagne. He actually calls himself Charlemagne the God. This is his fact-free, hysterical and diabolically stupid take.
Canceling Colbert is an obvious move to appease Donald Trump. And I need to tell y'all something. If you don't think we are under a regime with an authoritarian strategy, then you are bugging. This is textbook authoritarian rule. Target your critic, centralize power in a few hands, intimidate through punishment or removal. And you know what that usually does? Shuts people the F up, okay? Tightens control over public discourse, sends a message to all media outlets that criticism of Trump could cost you access, approval, editorial control, all your job. This is what authoritarian regimes do. They weaponize legal systems to punish dissent and control messaging.
I've got to say that's frankly hilarious, unintentionally hilarious, and what the kids call projection, because what he described there is in fact precisely what the left does, not the free speech loving right. Here is Charlemagne the God being schooled by Larry Elder a couple of years ago. This is my favourite clip of his. This is where he tries to race bait the Republican, and it does not go well for him.
In America, 60% of the shootings, robberies, and the homicides are committed by black people, often against other black people. You can't blame it on poverty. You can't blame it on racism. It is a breakdown of the nuclear intact family, and neither side is talking about it.
Let me ask you a question. What do white people do wrong?
What do you mean, what do white people do? I'm not worried about white people. I'm worried about what's going on with us.
But if there's systemic racism in this country, which we know it is.
No, I don't say there is. You say there is. I don't believe that.
Have you ever heard of the term wake-up call?
No.
It is an incident where a person of color forgets that they are of color and are reminded by an unexpected act of racism.
I'm acutely aware, Charlemagne, that I'm a black person, just as you are a black person. And when Joe Biden insulted you by saying, you ain't really black, we don't know whether or not you want to vote for me or vote for Donald Trump. And Joe Biden has lied for decades about his civil rights record, claiming that he desegregated movie theaters and restaurants in Wilmington, Delaware, when he didn't do any of that. And he came in here and told you aren't even black unless you think a certain kind of way. It seems to me that should have been a wake-up call for you, but it wasn't, apparently.
Yeah.
Now, the left is losing their teeny tiny minds over the brilliantly named alligator Alcatraz in Florida. The detention centre has been called a Nazi concentration camp. These people are sick, but they cannot come up with any concrete reasons why this facility is so heinous. The Washington Post they revealed exclusively the horrors of illegal immigrants waiting to be deported, being fed meals of cold ham sandwiches. Someone called The Hague, but it was Democrat Congresswoman Demi Wasserman-Schultz who really exposed the true horror of this institution.
They essentially drink, they get their drinking water, and they brush their teeth where they poop in the same unit. They bragged that they went above standards, supposedly, and gave them a 3-foot privacy wall.
So they poop in the same space where they brush their teeth. You mean like a bathroom, like every home in America, every home in the West has? Where is Debbie brushing her teeth? In the dining room? Hunter Biden, you remember him, the crack-addled whore enthusiast, son of former President Joe Biden, is back and he is angry. He's angry at the lefties who, after years of covering up his father's obvious cognitive decline, dumped him and installed Kamala as their 2024 presidential candidate. And that includes Hollywood actor George Clooney, who penned a New York Times piece calling for Biden to step down after that disastrous debate with President Trump. Well, Hunter, who you'll recall scored an unconditional presidential pardon, sat down for an interview with Channel 5 and he let Clooney have it. The left are turning on each other and it's glorious.
Him, and everybody around him. I don't have to be nice. Number one, I agree with Quentin Tarantino. George Clooney is not a actor. He is a I don't know what he is. He's a brand. And by the way, and God bless him. You know what? He supposedly treats his friends really well. You know what I mean? Buys them things. And he's got a really great place in Lake Como. And he's great friends with Barack Obama. You. What do you have to do with anything? Why do I have to listen to you? What right do you have to step on a man who's given 52 years of his life to the service of this country and decide that you, George Clooney, are going to take out basically a full-page ad in the New York Times to undermine the president at a time in which, by the way, what do people care about the most? Why do you think that the Republicans have an advantage over us? Because they're unified. They will go along with anything. I wasn't asking anybody to go along with anything. I was asking people to go along with this. The most successful administration in my lifetime.
Wow, he may still be high if he thinks the Biden administration was the most successful administration in his lifetime. And he wasn't done yet with George Clooney. And here he admits what we have all suspected, that Clooney was acting on the behest of Barack Obama.
You know what George Clooney did? Because he sat down, I guess, because he was like given a blessing by the Obama team or the Obama people and whoever else, and David Axelrod and whoever the else, is to go, okay, yeah, you know what? We are going to insert our judgment over yours. Me and James Carville, who hasn't run a race in 40 years.
And it's not just George Clooney, James Carville or Team Obama that Hunter is upset with. CNN's Jake Tapper copped a serve too for that silly little book he wrote about Biden's cognitive decline. It doesn't matter to Hunter that Tapper covered up for his dad for years and only wrote that book after the election. He's now on the enemy list.
Who's Jake Tapper's audience? Jake Tapper?
My mom or something? I don't know.
Well, I don't know. For real, though. I don't even think it's your mom anymore.
No.
By the numbers, what influence does Jake Tapper have over anything? He has the smallest audience on cable news. And beyond that, I think that the book is right now on Amazon that he put out. I mean, his ratings just went to shit after he put the book out. You know, they did a 2-week infomercial for it. I mean, it was such a money grab.
Now, I regret to inform you that Hunter Biden is not just taking pot shots at aging Hollywood types and CNN hacks. He's somehow deluded himself into believing he could take on Trump or the president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele. Hunter wants to bring back the illegal immigrants, the criminals deported to El Salvador, and is willing to take drastic measures to do so. He is another profanity-laced diatribe, almost like this guy is on something.
I say, you. How are we getting those people back from El Salvador? Because I'll tell you what, if I became president in 2 years from now, or 4 years from now, or 3 years from now, I would pick up the phone and call the president of El Salvador and say, you either send them back or I'm going to invade. It's a crime what they're doing. He's a dictator thug.
Bukele or Trump?
Both.
Hunter is going to become president and he's going to invade El Salvador. There you go, Democrats. That's your next election campaign right there. What a sad, broken party. But we shouldn't laugh off Hunter's mad rants because this man had enormous power in the Biden White House. And don't forget, Joe Biden often said Hunter was the smartest man he knew. Seriously, in this lengthy, wide-ranging interview with Channel 5, Hunter denied that cocaine found in the Oval Office was his. And then he gave the audience a helpful lesson in how you make crack. I wish I was kidding.
The only difference between crack cocaine and cocaine is sodium bicarbonate and water and heat, literally.
That's it?
That's it.
And those things are pretty much free if you go to like a science store.
This is free. You can go to your neighborhood convenience store and just get. Anyway, I don't want to tell people how to make crack cocaine, but it literally is a mayonnaise jar, cocaine, and baking soda.
He doesn't want to tell you how to make it, but he just did. And he didn't stop there. Apparently, crack isn't that bad. Crack isn't whack. It's better than alcohol, according to Hunter. Listen to this lunacy.
Crack cocaine make you act any differently? No. Is it safer than alcohol? Probably. People think of crack as being dirty. It's the exact opposite. When you make crack, what you're doing is you're burning off all the impurities so that it combines with the sodium bicarbonate, which makes it smokable. That's all.
Astonishing stuff. Now let's check in on some lefties running a bar. Not clear if they're just working at this bar or whether they're owners. I'd suggest the former, but that's just a guess. Watch what happens when a Trump supporter comes in to order a drink. Watch how these so-called tolerant, progressive, love is love lefties react.
I don't question.
No, we're not answering questions. Get out of the car.
Why?
Because you're a Trump supporter.
I know, but don't you guys want our money?
No, actually we don't. Get out of my bar right now.
You're not welcome.
I'm not f***ing around. Get out of my bar.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Out.
Because I'm wearing a Trump vest. That's wild.
I don't care. Get out.
We can call the police or you can just leave.
You know this is like discrimination, right?
Oh, boo-hoo! Get out of my bar.
Didn't the left ruin the lives of a Christian baker for much less than that? To Minneapolis now, and remember when Democrat Mayor Jacob Frey dropped to his knees and wept at the coffin of George Floyd as BLM rioters tore apart his city? Well, even that wasn't enough to save him, because the Minnesota Democratic Party has now endorsed Omar Fatah for Minneapolis mayor. The Somali-American state senator is American-born, but his focus is almost entirely on the Somali community.
Right now, we're blessed to have 3 Somali elected officials at the Capitol. Me, Sister Holden Hassan, who's in the State House, and Brother Mahmoud Noor. And we work very closely together, and we carry each other's bills.
And yes, Omar was born and bred in the US, but he refers to Somalia as home.
I understand that our Somali communities are all connected to each other here in Minnesota and back home, and I ask for your support. There's always been a link between our community here as well as back home, and I'm running to bridge that gap and unite all of us.
Now, I have to say, I've missed the mad rants of sacked MSNBC host Joy Reid. She was an ever-reliable source of Lefties Losing It content, and I'm happy to report she's back with another unhinged diatribe aimed at, you guessed it, Trump supporters.
Trump has those kind of voters. They are dedicated to him personally. They care more about him being happy than them being happy. They care more about him having what he wants than them having what they want. They will give up their health care. They will let their daughters be destroyed. They will let their families be destroyed. They will do, there's nothing he can do. He can drown them in Texas. He can take away their FEMA. He can do anything he wants to them.
And the meltdown over Stephen Colbert's overdue sacking continues. Now, a reminder, Colbert's show is not only terrible, but it also loses $40 to $50 million a year. How it survived this long is the scandal, but no, the left's mass meltdown continues, and it wouldn't be a mass meltdown without the input of the ladies of The View. Here is Sunny Hostin suggesting that cancelling a struggling show is pretty much the dismantling of democracy itself. These people are nuts.
It's very clear that if it is political, this is the dismantling of our democracy. This is the dismantling of our Constitution, right? And so the First Amendment is the First Amendment for a reason, and that is freedom of the press, freedom of speech, freedom to speak truth to power. What are we going to do as a country? We must protect our Constitution, and we must protect our democracy. I think this is bigger than just the cancellation of a television show.
And Jon Stewart has joined in the hysteria. He proves that leftism destroys everything. You know, Jon Stewart used to be mildly amusing. Now he's reduced to this.
Go yourself!
It's just sad. It's like some feral, undisciplined child that's learnt a rude new word and thinks it's really cool to keep repeating it. And Colbert himself thought this was a clever line. Have a look at his response to Donald Trump celebrating his sacking.
On Friday, Donald Trump posted, "I absolutely love that Colbert got fired. His talent was even less than his ratings." How dare you, sir? Would an untalented man be able to compose the following satirical witticism? Go f yourself.
sad thing is, he probably didn't compose that line. Reminder, one of the reasons The Late Show loses tens of millions of dollars every year is that it's got a huge team, 100 plus reportedly, including a big team of professional writers, and that's the best they can do. Now, let's wrap up this issue with the top 3 lowlights of Colbert's long run. Let's start with this cringe fest featuring Mark Cuban attacking, you guessed it, Donald Trump.
You're shiny, orange, and empty inside. I'd say you're a traffic cone, but I would swerve to avoid a traffic curve. Oh, that's gonna leave a mark, Cuban. Donald, I know you have no shot with Hispanics, because there's no way in hell you're getting the Cuban vote. Donald, the only way you're worth $10 billion is if I paid you $9.5 billion to wash my balls.
Pathetic, pathetic. Coming in at number 2 is this moment with Claire Danes, actress Claire Danes. Now, this was a rarity. This was a chance for Colbert to actually feature something interesting. But watch how he reacts when the Homeland actress talks about her interactions with the intelligence community. This is from Trump's first term in 2018 at the height of the Russian collusion hoax. Watch Colbert's panic as Danes mentions the intelligence community aligning itself with the media.
What's the most surprising thing that they've told you about their jobs, or something you would need to know from
Well, every year it's different, right? We've been at it for a while, and the climate has changed. But this year it was all about, you know, the distrust between the administration and the intelligence world, and the intelligence community was suddenly kind of allying itself with journalists, which usually they're not.
How long ago did you start shooting this season?
The panic was palpable, the way he jumped in to stop her completing that sentence. But the worst moment from Colbert has to be this weapon-grade trash.
The vaccine.
That's all I can stomach. That trash went on for some time. Shameless, shameless charlatan. Now to a tolerant, loving lefty lass raging wildly because Donald Trump is still alive and healthy.
When will he die? When will he die? I can't keep doing this. When will he die?
Now let's hear from CBS News correspondent Scott MacFarlane, who revealed that the real victim of the Butler assassination attempt against Donald Trump wasn't Donald Trump. It wasn't even the Trump supporter shot dead defending his family. No, the real victim was the media, including Scott MacFarlane. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You don't hate the media enough. You think you do, but you don't.
For those of us there, it was such a horror because you saw an emerging America. And it wasn't the shooting, Chuck. I got diagnosed with PTSD within 48 hours. I got put on trauma leave, not because I think of the shooting, but because you saw it in the eyes, the reaction of the people. They were coming for us. If he didn't jump up with his fist, they were going to come kill us.
I know.
He was on trauma leave. Not because he saw the president shot, not because he saw a man in the crowd shot dead. No, he was traumatized by the crowd. Hollywood is struggling to deal with reality. The weirdos with their warped moral compass are still pining for Kamala. Here is Jeff Daniels, star of Dumb and Dumber, being the dumbest.
I still think about Kamala and how I think she would have been a good choice. I don't care what they say, because she would have done what Lincoln did. Liz Cheney would have been Secretary of State.
Team of Rivals.
Yeah, Team of Rivals. Doris Kearns, a good one, wrote the book about it. That's what Lincoln did. Surrounded himself with the people who would disagree with him, not the people who would, take a knee and go, yeah, more tariffs, sir, more. It's the madness of King George. And just the deterioration of the Republican Party. I mean, look, I'm just an actor. What do I know?
Not much, Jeff. You don't know much. And did you see the sympathetic nods from MSNBC anchor Nicole Wallace as Daniel spewed a bunch of nonsense? And guess what? It gets crazier because he seems to think the radical left taking over the country is what Jesus would want.
The new America that is diverse and treats everyone with equality and respect and dignity, you know, kind of like Jesus did.
Yep, madder than a cut snake. And yes, Nicole is still nodding along like a bobblehead. Let's check on another Trump-deranged actor, Alec Baldwin. I wonder how he's coping with life these days.
Sing to me, 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 mommy sing to me, sing to me, mommy sing to me.
Okay, now among the many startling revelations of nefarious activities revealed by the release of freshly declassified documents by the Director of National Intelligence is this little gem. Turns out the Russians knew that there was something seriously wrong with Hillary Clinton, and that's why they preferred her to win, not Trump. And the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service did not release the information that alleged Clinton was suffering from intensified psycho-emotional problems, including uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression and cheerfulness. If only there was a sign.
Did you talk about vice presidential possibilities with Senator Warren?
Now, having said all this, why aren't I 50 points ahead, you might ask?
And apparently Hillary was on heavy tranquilizers too. Now, if only there was any evidence of that. Perhaps something like what we're looking at right now.